We are live, right? Oh, there I am. Okay. All right. I am now live. Hello. So someone out there besides Gary, um, let me know that you can see and hear me, and we will go forward happily. It should be available to you now, Gary. Apparently it takes 20 seconds for it to start broadcasting before anyone else can link in. So, well, it is the Sunday before the Great Feast Sunday, which is next Sunday. It is, right, 1 and plus week. Is that you, Gary, that's connected? Or, okay, all right, 2 people are there. Okay, so if you're out there and you can see and hear me, let me know, and I will do treatment work for you. Okay, Joe, you won. Excellent. So let me know for what you would like me to do special spiritual work for you, and I will do it. You can either message me here or send an email. You could post it here if you want, if you don't mind everybody seeing it. Or you could go to our website, cslprinceton.org, and send an email message via that. I get that. And Margit, you also won, so let me know for what you would like spiritual work done, and I will do that for you. You've been pretty good. You've been on a roll. Okay. All right, so we got that going. So having said that, so we're like a week and a half away from the big Thanksgiving feast, and all that goes with that. And given all that we experienced last year around that, things are changing. For some people, things are the same. But whatever that is, we want to be grateful for all the little bits of good that we can notice in our lives. Even if it is, hey, I'm still here. And given all that's going on, that's something right there to be grateful for. Right? Right. Okay, so let me do a spiritual mind treatment. This word is being spoken for each one. And if there is any place or any other person that you would like to have included in this word, then just think of their name or that place now and know that this word also includes them, because this word is being spoken in the infinite, eternal now, in that place of omnipresence. And so no matter whether it's now, past, present, future, where, space or time does not matter, for anyone and any spot, this loving presence is. There is not a spot where God is not. And so right here, right now, this divine loving presence is living its life by creating perfect forms through which it expresses all that it is. And each particular form is given all of the qualities, all of the substance of this divine presence to fashion into whatever form he or she chooses. And so that's true of each one here. Each one has been given all life, and all that is a part of a life. Its intelligence, its perfect right order, its divine right action, its ability to take form, to express itself. Each one is given life, and each one is given love in which to feel gratitude, feel an appreciation, to actually feel an appreciation for this life. Each one is given light, wisdom, or the ability to see what may be and to accept it and claim it. And each one is given a law that will create it. And so each one is given power, the power of directing a law that is all powerful and knows how to create anything that anyone could possibly can conceive of. Each one is given peace, the peace that knows, because it is life and love, and it can create and does create, that all things are possible. and that there is no power outside of one. And so there is nothing to fear. And so each one is knowing a peace that is maybe not explainable by what's showing up in appearances, and maybe not noticed or fully taken form yet, but each one is knowing a peace within that all is well and all is always well. And each one is knowing with all these qualities that awareness of beauty, that it's everywhere, as omnipresent as life itself. And so wherever one is seeing or feeling or sensing ugliness, each one is now aware that beauty is there too, and that the recognition that beauty is here now, omnipresent, it reveals itself in a beautiful, harmonious way. And so with all this, it is joy. Joy that is at the very center of each one's being. And that joy is more than feeling happy or excited or in a good mood. This joy is also omnipresent and always present, whether one is aware of it or not. That joy, that divine joy, is present. And it is that urge within to love one's life completely. And so wherever there may be an experience or a thought of something in one's world that one does not love, that rejection is dissolved and evaporated. Because in every single so-called spot that one does not love, the omnipresence of love is there. And that the awareness of the presence of love awakens and reveals that love. And so it begins within each one, so that each one is practicing wholeheartedly, loving oneself completely, just the way they are. No matter how they might be behaving or feeling or maybe what's going on, that self-acceptance, self-love is total. It is unconditional. And with this acceptance of loving oneself completely, each one is able to love one's life completely. No matter what's going on, each one is able to know that love is there and that love shall be revealed. And as a result of all this truth, this divine life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, joy is being lived right now, in, through, as, and all around each one. It results in an environment that is just sweet, gentle, and it's the perfect environment for each one to thrive and be more and more of their true self. And as a result, each one is having an experience of the path ahead being prepared for them. There are no obstacles in the way. It is clear and it is visible, and there are signs pointing the way everywhere. So each one is divinely guided along that perfect path of moving from good to greater good, and enjoying the activity of moving, of changing in expression, of becoming more and more of these divine qualities. And so as a result, each one is given this life and living it in such a way that each one is grateful. Grateful for the awareness, grateful for the gifts, and grateful for more experiences, more life to be created ahead. And each one is a part of all this, belongs, and is loved. This is the truth. I am grateful this is the truth, so I release this word to that loving law. So glad it takes care of this, and so it's done, and so it is. And that is the way it is. Okay, so from Thailand, hello, Craig, and let's have Reverend Rich take us off into song. Take us away. I get shorter than usual? A little bit.
I am as God created me, the love, the light, and the glory. I am as God created me, the love, the light, and the glory. 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 I am. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. I am. I am. God created me. The love, the light, and the glory. I am. God created me. The love, the light, and the glory. 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 I am. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. I am. As God created me. The love, the light, and the glory. I am as God created me. The love, the light, and the glory. 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 I am. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. The love, the light, and the glory. I am as God created me. The love, the light, and the glory. I am. We're not ready yet. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so this is that time where we set an intention of the good that we want to receive this morning through this activity of high knowing. And from our book that we're using, I am opening to the wisdom, love, power, and substance of God. I am filled with the Spirit and radiant in the consciousness of God's rich abundance. I am open to the abundant good. And whatever that is for you, amen, and so it is.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Welcome. I am Damaris Otero-Torres, and I am delighted to welcome you to my home, my spiritual home, the Centers for Spiritual Living Princeton, a loving, healing, inclusive community that teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. So, welcome. I am so thrilled to have started this service with that wonderful song. I was ready to come out, and Reverend Rick said, "Not yet, honey, not yet." And I said, "All right." So anyway, this is a very, very special week for us because in 1 week we will be celebrating our gratitude service. And I don't know, but for me, that's probably one of the highlights of the year when I get to stand in front of this community to say, I am grateful. Because gratitude simply means that we have opened our hearts in such a way that we have gotten to know more of God, that we have accepted more of that wonderful gift of light, of love, and glory that we are. Because there's nothing outside of that, because that's what God is, and that's what each one of us is. So after that wonderful service, I invite you to keep on celebrating, because we have, Susan Neat has organized tailgate gatherings. So please come right after the service. We'll be outside. If you want to bring sandwiches or fruits, please do so. Please give Susan a call or shoot her an email so that we know what we're having. And we will be delighted to have you here with us. And if not, you can celebrate at your home, but you don't get to hang out with us. But that's okay. And then one of the most important activities for me particularly and for this center will happen on December 31st. It will be our third year that we prepare, and it will be the World Healing Meditation. This is a wonderful opportunity to join people around the world who think and live the importance of peace and the recognition that peace starts with each one of us. As in last year, we will have this activity via Zoom. It will start, we will open the Zoom room at 6:40. We will start at 6:45 with a treatment, a meditation, and at 7 o'clock, we will start the World Healing Meditation. At 7:15, you can do whatever you want because you'll be free. So it is those, half hour that we truly commit ourselves to standing in the truth that each of us are and acknowledging our commitment to be that light unto the world. I was lucky enough to meet the man that created this event over 30 years ago, John Randolph Price. And for me, it's a truly important activity. So I would be delighted if you out there and here can join us, okay? I'll be doing this with my fellow practitioners, Susan and John. So, and we'll be delighted to have you. So, as I was preparing to do the welcome, I came across with this book called Invisible Supply, Finding the Gifts of the Spirit Within. It's by Joel Goldsmith. And I was truly moved by this chapter in which, entitled, I Am Home in Thee. It says, it was a wonderful day in 1937 when the realization, I am home in Thee, came to me. Before this realization came to me, I was a weary wanderer in search of God, searching everywhere, including the shelves of metaphysical libraries. All that time, God was in me, and I was in God. I do not regret the years spent searching, because in the end, the writings reveal what had always been true. I had never been away from home. I had just not realized it. So let us neither tear up the books on truth nor tear down the libraries, but let us bless every activity and means that help to reveal the truth to us. Once we have studied scripture and inspirational writings, if we relax our mental efforts, a whole new world opens to us. God reveals itself to us. It is not necessary to be physically still. You can continue with your work, or ride horseback, or do housework, or conduct business. Anything at all, as long as you are mentally still and open your inner ear and maintain a listening attitude. Then it can be revealed to you how close God is and why the poet could say so beautifully, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. By being mentally still, instead of seeking, searching, mentalizing, we can hear all that God has to say. Be sure that God has infinitely more interesting things to say to us than we could ever say to God. Do I need to repeat that? Yes. Be sure that God has infinitely more interesting things to say to us than we could ever say to God. Today would be a great day to give up our search for God and let God find us right where we are. I believe this wholeheartedly. So, do whatever you need to do today. We have a wonderful inspirational service, so have a great day. Reverend Richard, take it away.
This is a song, chant. Some really tough lyrics. So I don't know if you can follow along, but give it a try. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Here's the tough part. Who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Who I am.
Good morning. I'm remembering who I am, and I'm Stefanie Lachenauer, a practitioner here. And I'm so glad to be with all of you and remembering that God is with us. I loved that. Thank you so much for Damaris for sharing that in the beginning. So remembering who I am also, I'm also a teacher. And so in my classroom, my students love to play this game. It's not really a game, but in my mind it's like a game, and it's the what if game. And so it works like this. Anything I say or anything I teach, they have a what if for. Great, so Ms. Lachenauer, then what if they don't do that? What if that rule doesn't work? What if they decide not to come? Ms. Lachenauer, what if aliens landed and then they just took over? So I don't want to stop the curiosity, but most of the what if games are kind of negative. I don't know if you guys ever play this what if game with yourself. I sometimes play this, and I go through all the worst case scenarios. what if, and then it just kind of leads on this train of like sometimes kind of not fun thoughts. Now, sometimes the worst case scenario, that can make us feel better because we're like, all right, it's not going to be that bad. But most of the time, we're just putting our consciousness in this not really great place. So I've reimagined the what if game. But before I do that, let's get some spiritual truth. So Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind on page 300 says, the subjective state of a man's thought decides what is going to happen to him in his objective experience. The subjective state of his thought is the sum total of his thinking and knowing. It is the medium between the relative and the absolute, between the limitless and the conditioned. Whatever is involved in it will evolve. Therefore, when there is no longer anything in our mentality which denies our word, a demonstration will be made. Nothing can stop it, for the law is absolute. So how helpful is that negative what if game? Not so helpful. So what if we reimagine the what if game? And what if the what if game helps us to get into that place of openness? So we know that God has more interesting things to say to us. But if we're not in a place where we can listen, we can imagine. So we'll start in a place now of imagining. So there's lots of ways we can play this what if game. So I invite you at home, to go ahead and try this with a partner, with a friend. Susan and I sometimes play versions of this where we act things out as if they're happening. That's a great one to do too. And just talk out the what if game. What if it happened in the best possible way? And then really imagine that. How does that feel inside? So we're just going to juice up that positivity. So wherever you are now, you can get comfortable. You can do this walking. You can do this however, but you can start thinking now of something maybe that you're a little bit worried about. Maybe you played the what if game on this one before and the outcomes weren't so fun. So let's maybe pick that one. And just check in and notice what's happening in your body here as you even think about this. And we'll just take a breath. Let that in, that fresh air in, and let out all that you're feeling. See if you can allow your body to soften a little. And just check in again with what's happening here. Now, what if this happened in a perfect way? What if this starts to unfold in a really beautiful way? What if this is happening for your highest and greatest good? Start to see this unfolding. What if it's even better than you think it is right now? And that was pretty good. What could that look like? What could that feel like? And where can you feel that in your body? Maybe in your heart. Maybe in your solar plexus. Allow yourself to really imagine this being for your highest and greatest good. And know that whatever images we have are mere suggestions. And we'll let these thoughts go, coming back to our breath. And we're going to know right here and now that these are just our suggestions. And like Damaris told us, we know that God's ideas are far better than anything we could have. So as we sit in this comfortable place, knowing that we are moving from good to greater good, I'll do a spiritual mind treatment for us. There's one life. This word is being spoken for each one here, each one listening to a recording. There's one life, and that life is God's life. And that life is each one's life right here, right now. God operates using the divine mind, and that mind is available to each one of us at every point in our lives. There is not a spot where God is not. And God has created each of us in perfect harmony, perfect order, perfect right thinking, perfect right action. And these qualities live, move, and breathe through each of us. Therefore, all that is in our hearts and minds, all of our heart and mind desires, we have access to that divine mind to bring into reality. We have access to that divine guidance, and we are right here, right now, being divinely guided to take the perfect right actions, the perfect right steps to help support us in living that what-if game in the most highest, greatest good for each of us. Each life here moves from good to greater good by ways and means of good. And anywhere where we are stuck in the negative of the what-if game, or seeing the little r reality as being negative or not good or not for our highest and greatest good, it's completely erased with this word, and it is replaced with the knowing that God is our capital R reality, that all of those God qualities are living, moving, breathing through us, in us, as us, and that the greatest good, our highest and greatest good, is present in each and everything that is happening in our lives. There is not a spot where God is not, and each one here is knowing that, living that, and feeling that right here and right now. Each one of us is living the what-if game in the most positive way. Each one of us has eyes and ears and hearts that are open to divine guidance, so that each one's greatest heart desires are fully expressed in each one's life. I am so grateful that this is the truth. I release this word to God's loving law, knowing it's already done. And so it is.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, the green was easy, rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, spread over the land, and the flowers bloomed in the desert, the air was clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, the way was easy, the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, peace spread over the land, and the guardian stars are shining, the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, the sound was easy, the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, the Father's steps are clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. Spread over the land, the peace spread over the land. So dream big.
Ooh, dream big. And all the supply to support it. Right? We forget to add that little piece. Let me dream big. And then I am not enough, and I need more to finance my big dream, right? Pops up. So that is our talk this morning. We've been focusing on this book by E.V. Ingraham, Ingraham, called Wells of Abundance. And he's talking about 7 planes through which we receive the supply of good from God. And we've gone through 3 of them. Today is our 4th. The 4th one is called the Law of Attraction, which many of you are familiar with. And what he points out to us is that the whole the spiritual practices that we developed and working with the first 3 planes has as its purpose developing an inner consciousness, an inner belief that abundance is natural and normal. And so our first 3 lessons continue, and we continue them forever, so that we feel and believe more and more and more that we are wealthy, that we are fully supported. So many of these desires that we have in our heart that won't let us go cannot be fulfilled by the world's supply. A quality like knowing you are loved. We don't get it from having people in our lives who say, I love you, I love you, I love you, or act in a loving way, or who do love us. We don't feel the love that someone else is feeling for us. We feel the love that is in us. And one of the most wonderful experiences I had, the last time I, quote, fell in love, I was in this teaching and I realized, wow, this feeling of falling in love is me. It looks like it's coming from that other person because I need that other person's face there for me to go, in some sort of socially acceptable, non-threatening, scary way. And, but yet, it was all in me. And so I noticed, I tried to bring some awareness to what's going on with me as I thought of this person and I felt this love. I would consciously say, this love is me, it's mine. It doesn't need that person. That person can come and go he did. But that falling in love, that is mine. That did not go away with that person. And so that's what we're talking about when we're talking about wealth and abundance and prosperity. It's in us, but we think we need all these other things to make us feel wealthy. But as many wealthy millionaire over the decade or centuries have shown, there have been many of them who had all the money one could imagine, and they didn't feel wealthy inside. They lived impoverished. And so it's that living impoverished that we need to take a look at, because that's the problem. It's not I'm missing stuff and that's why I'm impoverished. No, that impoverishment is in the spirit. It's in a belief that you lack. So I had an experience a couple weeks ago of needing gas. Right? Every once in a while, everyone has that guidance, time for gas. Well, I'm one of those people who will believe, it is my opinion, that there's more gas in there than the gas measurement device indicates. But I'm not 100% sure, right? I've never in this car run out of gas. But I have this interesting, helpful device that they installed at the manufacturer company there, which is when the car thinks it has enough gas for only 50 more miles, this little red light comes on with 50 blinking to let me know you got 50 miles left. Now, apparently someone in the manufacturing company thought that if someone saw that, they would go and get gas. But they don't know that there are other people, me, who like to see how much you can go. Do they really mean 50 miles? And in my opinion, they cheat me from these 50 miles because it says 50 miles and then I just go, 2 miles away and it's saying 35. And I'm like, what happened to my other 13 miles? Give it back to me. You said 50 miles. I only went 2 miles by your odometer, also installed at that factory. And you took 13 miles of gas away from me. So I'm thinking about this. And so anyway, it goes down and down and down, blinking, blinking, blinking. And then somewhere around 15 miles left, it's straight lines. It doesn't tell me anymore how much is left. It's straight lines. Now you can drive for a while with it straight line because you've got 15 miles of gas in there. Maybe. So anyway, that's where I was a couple of weeks ago. Last time I needed to put gas in my car. I was driving from a park. I had a lovely time. 50 miles made it there. And I was driving home. And I was coming down to Route 1, and I could make a right and go to my house at the next thing, or I could make a left and get gas. And this indicator had been straight lined now for a while. And also that little needle was way down. And I'm like, I think I can go to my house and park. And tomorrow morning, Sunday, before church, I can drive away from church for that 2 miles and get gas. I think I have enough gas to do that. And there I am at the light. People are looking at me like, what the heck? And there was another voice in my head. It was a new voice, and it said, what the heck? Get gas! And so... And what it said was, Karen, this is a consciousness of lack. Because if you don't get gas, you will be feeling the discomfort of lack as you drive home. And in the morning, you'll have forgotten all about it and you'll be late for service, right? And you'll get into the car and you're like, oh my God, I don't have enough gas. And then you'll be worrying that, so there's like a good, 4 miles of worry and an overnight of unconscious worry, all believing I don't have enough gas. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. Why? Why? And so I got into the left lane to make a left to get gas, but the light was still red. And then I began worrying that I won't have enough gas to get the gas station. And I'm like, well, someone can push me along Route 1. It's not far. And I'm like, what if? Scenario. I'm like, what if there's enough gas and you're taking care of yourself, go in and get the gas and stop it. So all there at that light, I became aware, wells of abundance, that I'm carrying the lack in me. It certainly was where this whole little game of let's see how much I can get away with the gas in my tank began. Because I know that there's people out there who fill their gas up when it's halfway. They're nodding. And I'm like, it's the same amount of money and of gas in the long run. You're not saving anything by waiting till the end. You're not gaining anything by keeping it filled more frequently. It's all your inner experience, my inner experience. And my inner experience is to play with lack. Am I done with that? So, the wells of abundance, Ingraham tells us that we want to identify with abundance. And yet, I had that experience of telling me, honey, you don't identify with abundance. And here's a little example of how you carry around a belief in lack in a very simple little thing, which really doesn't matter, right? When you get gas, when you don't get gas, it doesn't matter, except for those of you who are like me, right? You know who you are. You know that little feeling of terror. Uh-oh, do I have enough gas? Right? And where's the next, stop along the highway? You know what that feels like. So that feeling of lack is not necessary. And what our whole spiritual practice is about is to focus on that inner experience and to convert it consciously into feeling abundance, more than enough. You know how it feels when you've got your last buck in your wallet and you're like, well, I'll go to the bank later, I'll get more money, there's more money there, I'll get more money there, but then you want to stop somewhere. One of the spiritual classes that I've taken recommends that you go out and you get a fresh $100 bill and you stick it in your wallet so that you can feel like you have an abundance. And for me, when I put that $100 bill in my wallet, I'm nervous the whole time it's there, thinking I'm going to pull it out as a one and spend it, give it away. It's a $10, because I'm not used to it there. So this is a consciousness that it's coming out in how I handle my money, how I handle my gas, and nothing wrong with that, nothing bad with that. But the thing is what is it saying about what I unconsciously believe? It's the way I'm behaving. If you feel you're loved, you're generous. If you think you've lost something, lost some love, you tend to get attached or fearful. If you feel as the people who are young in age do, remember that? When you were had few years according to the world's reckoning, as Emma Curtis Hopkins would say. You had your whole life in front of you. You could do anything. Your body was not even fully formed. You thought, I could do anything. I remember when I went to college, it was like, whoa, what am I going to major in? I could major in anything. And so that feeling of youth and vitality, it's ours. And even though you may be on the planet more years, according to the world's reckoning, than those with the fewer years, that feeling of anything is possible. Everything is available to me. What might I do? My whole future is ahead of me. That's in us. The infinite possibilities yet to be. And so we need to cultivate these qualities. And the Wells of Abundance book is there giving us these spiritual practices that have as their purpose building an inner belief system so that we feel it without having to consciously work at it. So that I remember one morning, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you the decades of forgiveness work I've done, self-forgiveness work that I've done. And one morning I woke up with this clear sense through and through, I am forgiven. Wow. It went away, but it was there. I am forgiven. There was such a peace of my inner self about it, and I can capture it again. But all that spiritual work that I had done about self-forgiveness is what built that inner consciousness that gave me that sense. I am forgiven. And then more recently, I was actually sharing this with one of you out there. You'll know who you are. I actually had this experience of all of a sudden feeling I am popular. It was such a great feeling. And while I was feeling I am popular, I realized it had nothing to do whether anyone else liked me or not. I was all alone in my kitchen, and I thought, I am popular. Everyone likes me. Everyone wants to be with me. I was all by myself. And there's no evidence to support this whatsoever, believe me. But I felt popular. And I had to sing that song by, Kristen Chenoweth had to sing, popular, whatever. So the thing is that these qualities that really do fulfill us come from the divine. Feeling wealthy, feeling prosperous, feeling healthy, feeling like you have infinite opportunities ahead of you, feeling loved, feeling forgiven, feeling like you belong, like you're accepted. This all comes from within. It does not come from what's going on in our worlds. And when we've got that sense, what he points out in our fourth plane of supply, things seems to shift in our world, so that which we had been seeking in the world starts seeking us. That we start, well, whether we like it or not, we are always attracting our inner beliefs. I know some of us don't like, well, we all don't like that. Who likes that? But because of these spiritual practices and accepting and uniting with the abundance of the divine, those inner beliefs shift and we start noticing things coming to us. We start noticing the opportunities coming to us, the money, the resources, the ideas, the experiences. I had this wonderful experience. It came to me of being invited to the grand opening of the Christmas Spectacular with the Rockettes. I was invited to go and to be driven there all the way into a parking garage next to Radio City Music Hall. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to show up and enjoy. That was my unconscious beliefs that had built up accepting such a wonderful thing for myself and such a wonderful friend who invited me, a former Rockette. Yes, I know them. And it came from building it up by appreciating, years and years of appreciating the Rockettes and my dance teacher and all these ideas, and just loving the music and the kicks and the whole shebang without any embarrassment whatsoever. I don't care. I love it. And that consciousness I built up, and it opens out as this wonderful thing I was just invited to out of my blue. I would have sought it out, but I didn't have to. It just came to me, and I said, yes. And so that's what we do. Now, if you're feeling like, he tells us that we are a magnet. And so we look at what's getting attracted to us. Like one of the things that is attracted to me that I'd rather not be is cat fur. Okay, cat fur. I'm a magnet, but you get the devices and you don't let the cats in the closets at all, ever. But the consciousness of a divine quality is present in the divine, which is omnipresent. And when we tune in to that quality, we start hearing the music, and that music starts singing in us, right? Have you ever noticed you've listened to music? Oh boy, Reverend Rich, what a blessing his music is. By and large, simple, to the point, and out of the blue in my daily life, the songs will come to me. The words will come to me. I don't have to make up the words like I do with the radio because I don't know what they're singing, so I make it up. But that, I am opening. They just come to me. So that's what opening to the infinite does with us. First of all, we need to consciously court it through spiritual practice and some behavior changes. And at a certain point, it becomes what is sung in our heart. The very first tap class I ever had, it was a little special workshop by some, really great whoever. And he was trying to teach us something which was impossible for everybody, some particular step. And he said, everyone has a certain number of steps that they have to repeat a new skill. A certain number of times you have to repeat it. And when it might be 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000, but everybody's got a certain number of times you have to repeat it. But when you reach that point, you've got it. And that gave me hope. It was like, okay, all I need to do is just do these pullbacks. Apparently my number of times is something like 1,000. So I just have to do them 1,000 times and then boom, I'll have it. And yes, that's what happened. It seemed like it took 10 years of 1,000, but boom, then I had it, and now I have it. And so same thing for prosperity. We do these spiritual practices, we court it, and yes, more and more we have it, but then at a certain point, it is who we are, or it is what we believe, and then it's just attracted to us. We are supported. We could consciously, right, by force of will, he talked about the law of force a couple of weeks ago, make ourselves, like I could make myself fill my gas tank every time it gets down to a half. That it is in support of building the consciousness of prosperity, but it's not the cure. The cure is how you identify with the divine in your heart. The cure is spiritual practice. It's supported by what we do in the outer, but we never get confused that I need to do this in the outer in order to be cured. No, the cure is recognizing, as someone said, it was always there. God was always there. Is that you, Damaris? One of you. One of these geniuses here in the room read that this morning. So, all right, so our first law was at the plant level, the law of absorption, which tells us that whatever is in our environment, we just absorb. So, yeah, we might want to alter our environment, and we also might want to do that spiritual work of identifying with the beauty, with the abundance that is omnipresent. And so, as I've shared, I go out into the nature, into the parks, along the canal, and I identify with it. And then in that consciousness of identifying with the best, right, we then practice the law of, he calls it force, I call it the law of maybe intention or affirmation, where you say, this abundant good that is all around me is in me too. We identify with it and we claim it. And then last week we talked about the law of work, which is, what are we expressing? So with this law of abundance, say you're always tired. I'm too tired for this, too tired of that. If I had a little more energy, I would help you with blah, 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 whatever. That's all a consciousness of lack. So here we have identified with the power that we see present in the Canada geese as they squawk overhead and pass us, that all that vitality that allows them to travel miles and miles and miles in a pack to someplace new, that is in us. And I affirm that that same vitality and energy that carries them the whole way is carrying me the whole way. And then in the law of work, and I can give from this boundless energy and vitality that I am. I can scoop up that paper that you dropped from the floor. I can pick it up. Or whatever work it is that we are given to do, we give our best. I can think my best thoughts here. I can give my best at whatever level it is. I can give the best. I know I'm giving my best. And so with all of that, over and over and over, we reach that law of attraction. And he says, go on from here now and realize that all of your procedure up to and including this point is only for the purpose of building up the forces of your inner nature until they are so strong that outer evidences of supply begin to move toward you. Do not spend your time merely hoping and expecting everything to come to you. Be equally willing and ready to go to them. But above all, be continually active in building and maintaining the realization that the abundance of the universe is yours. And so he also gives us another little pointer. In taking up this method of spiritual work, one does not cease to work outwardly. In fact, one does more outward work, and that work is the more effective. It is also joyous work, but the motive is completely reversed. You work always to increase your realization of spiritual power and abundance, and then you express from that. So it's a spiritual practice, and one that's easy to forget, right? As I've said, every time I'm out in nature, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the law of absorption. Oh yeah, that's right. What is it now? Oh yeah. The beauty of nature around me. Yes, let me, and I went running again yesterday, and it was like, let's breathe in, and boy, the dead leaves smell is out there now, right? Those of you who go outside, all of a sudden it came. It wasn't there last week, but it was there now. You smell those, crunched up leaves all over the place. And, it was a beautiful morning. I knew it was about to pour rain, but it wasn't there yet. And so I had the sun, I'm enjoying, and I'm claiming, this is me. I am one with this. I'm claiming it. I'm affirming it for myself. So I only remember when I go out in nature. I never remember when I'm in my house. I don't know what that's about, and I don't seem to remember it at work, but I do give my best at work. I do give my best when I have a spiritual mind treatment to give someone. I give my best, and keep working at it. And I keep working at it. And I did have that awareness with the gas tank. Maybe I'll change something there. Maybe I won't wait. Maybe my new goal is to get gas before it starts saying 50 miles left. Wouldn't that be a change, right? Baby steps. And so the question now is, as you commune with the divine, what is it that you're guided for your world to change, to master, to give, to express? What is it new in you? And so, having said that, John, do you have that little thing ready?
I do.
I asked, John came in this morning all excited and read what came to him from this book, This Thing Called You, right?
Yeah.
And in it, what's the thing at the end? It says, think about this one thing.
Yeah, think of some desire.
Okay. So think about, in preparation as he comes up, think of a desire that you have, that you want, and it might be to have abundant gas. Be careful what you wish for, right? See, here's where clarity is needed. Specific, clear instructions to the law is needed. Okay, so that you have petroleum, whatever. Okay, I don't know. You're always fully supplied, whatever that is. So think of something that you have a desire for, and then I've asked our practitioner, John Heron, to come up and read this, and just allow yourself to have this moment.
It is not always easy for one to control their thoughts. It is not easy in the midst of pain to think peace, in the midst of poverty to think abundance, in the midst of unhappiness to think joy. But if you do this, you will meet with success. The law of mind reflects your mental attitudes exactly as they are. say this to yourself. That which I seek is seeking me. That which belongs to me will come to me. Since it is my desire that only good, truth, love, wisdom, and power shall go from me, I know this is all that can come back to me. The kingdom of God is within and around me. I know that the power of the living Spirit exists at the center of my being. Now think of that desire, that thing. And just say to yourself, it is done unto me. And so it is.
And so let's stay in this consciousness as our warm Reverend Rich, he's been sitting with a coat around him, surprises us with a joyous, some sort of song.
Sort of joyous.
Some sort of whatever you got.
Joy. It's kind of joyous. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And so in this consciousness, let's listen to Ingraham's meditation again. I say it in the first person, and you know that it's the I am in you speaking. All the creative power and intelligence of God fills and surrounds my entire being. This power has created me. Out of its substance, my body and my world have been formed. The presence of God with me and in me sustains, feeds, and nourishes me in soul, in mind, and in flesh. Only the Spirit that created me can sustain me. Therefore, I feast upon the Spirit of God's abundance that is now and eternally poured out upon me from the four corners of the universe. I receive it, accept it, and build it into my consciousness and character. It is my light, my life, and my substance. I am filled with the wisdom, love, power, and substance of God. They feed and nourish my whole being from within. Refreshed in the knowledge and power of God, I am supplied with the original essentials of life. being filled with the Spirit and radiant in the consciousness of God's rich abundance, I am an irresistible magnet that draws to me all material things needful to my completeness and perfection. And so it is.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And so it is. And that's the way it is. So have a wonderful week. Again, next Sunday is our Gratitude Sunday. You can start posting your gratitude beginning now, and we'll read it next Sunday if you're not going to be physically present. And also we have a tailgating party afterwards. So lots to be grateful for, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Okay, bye-bye. Goodbye. And let me say goodbye to you. Cheryl, hello. Oh, okay, so Cheryl, I hope the sound was not bad. Okay, so you had a problem and you had some weirdness with the sound. So hopefully, I know that once we've posted it, that the sound is okay throughout. So that's it. All right, I think I've said hello to everybody. Okay, goodbye out there in virtual land. Bye-bye.